there's some distance between them and the screen, and then there's distance between them and the light source. By moving the light source or moving the puppet, you can change the size of the shadow on the screen. And you can also move the light source laterally and cause the shadow to move on the screen. And so you can set up a scene where you have scenery that's close to the screen and further back and close to the light source. And you move your light source, and all three of those shadows will move at different rates on the screen. So you can create all this depth and all this movement by just having one person moving a light source. I think the thing about Undark that really spoke to me, and the thing that I felt like we could bring to the story, was the need for and the reason for having a government is to protect people. I was involved in more direct action kind of activist stuff back then, marches, protests, getting tear gassed, things like that. And society just sort of became immune to protest at some point, I moved to Austin like a lot of people did back then. I just deciding to throw all my stuff in my car and drive down here and see what would happen. And one of the first people I met was this girl who was doing a puppet show at a bar downtown, which is now Cheer Up Charlie's. Back then it was Club DeVille. And the story was this totally bizarre, like family-run strip club with a bunch of like murder and Oedipal themes and all kinds of stuff. And I thought that was the weirdest thing I'd ever heard. And so I volunteered to help out because I was like, I don't know anybody, so it's something to do. It's something to, And so I carried on making shows. We did a lot of sort of activist stuff.
Is this stuff bad for you? It tastes bad.
Radium is perfectly harmless.
And then I got really interested in what you could do with an actual theater space as opposed to, a booth in a parking lot, and, the lighting and all the control you can have over the atmosphere. I always say, when people ask me if we do shows for kids, or they'll ask me if we do birthday parties, I say, only if you want all the kids to cry. I'll show you these little guys over here. The one we had it was called the Crapstall Street Boys, and it was the story of these little kids who lived in a city that was infested with monsters. And to buy the latest monster protection technology, their parents needed money, so they sold the children to the workhouse. And in the workhouse, the children would manufacture monster protection technology, which would then be sold to the parents, to the populace. And of course, the children in the workhouse were starved and not taken care of or fed properly, so eventually they were forced to gobble each other up. And every time you gobble up another kid, you get a little bit bigger and a little bit more deformed until eventually you become a monster. And once you've become a full monster, then they unleash you to go and terrorize the city so that people will buy more technology. And in order to get the money to buy the technology, they sell their children to the workhouse to make the technology, who become the monsters, and the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. So, I mean, a lot of the shows are just sort of, I guess they're essentially me struggling with myself. Like, there's the anarchist in my heart who wants to like smash things and burn things down. And then there's also the socialist in my brain who's like, well, that's maybe not a great idea, and maybe we need more structure than that.
Her teeth, the roof of her mouth, the bones in her ears, it was all just decaying.
There's a part of me that really believes in regulation, because regulation is what keeps corporations from poisoning us with impunity, which is what the Undark show is all about. It's these women working in a factory with this incredibly toxic radioactive paint, which they are told is safe and possibly even beneficial to your health. And because of the horrible things that they endured and the horrible deaths that they died, we have OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and we wouldn't have that if it weren't for the suffering that they endured.
luck finding a lawyer?
Not yet. The last one said that we wouldn't be having these problems if we were at home taking care of the children.
So they can grow up and work in factories that poison them.
Where people are exposed to toxic substances and lied to and then shamed about it and told that it's, that it's their fault and it's because they have filthy habits or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of contradictory ideas, and I think that making the shows is one of the ways that I try to figure them out.
Far from bearing responsibility for the personal issues of its employees, the company is in fact the victim in this situation of exploitation by these women. Excitable and impressionable young women, they are seeking to enlist the United States government in their scheme to destroy this company with costly, unnecessary regulation.